Hey friends! Welcome back. Thank y'all so much for joining me again for another Insecure recap. Wow. Last night to me was so powerful, even more so than the previous episode with the fight. So jumping right into it, we start out Issa at home and she's running through some comments and stuff about the whole block party, but what's going through her head is the things that Molly said to her, which of course, I mean, she's going to sulk in that for a while and it's going to be in the back of her head possibly forever. The comments though, which I was really happy about, seemed mostly positive with the exception of that black YouTube girl, but that shit was funny. And basically we just follow Issa through a full day of the aftermath. So a couple of key things to point out. Kelly is so real. She keeps on calling, she's checking in, she's like, hey, I'm leaving you voicemails, girl. We gotta talk about this. I really love that she is just trying to hold the whole thing together. And then we also see that during one of her calls, she is at Tiffany's house with the baby's crying. I don't know when, but we're going to have to talk about what's going on with Tiffany. She is having some serious postpartum. This mom life is seeming tough, and I mean I'm doing a lot of speculation because we're only getting it in snippets. However, the snippets that we are getting seem very clear, so I want to talk about that. But I did want to shout Kelly out because she is a real one. Even at the very end of the episode, when we finally get her and Issa on the phone, she's like, hey, listen, y'all gotta figure it out. And I appreciate that finally then Issa's like, are you giving Molly the same energy because she's the one that came for me? And Kelly said that she was. But her thing was, hey, listen, Tiffany's my best friend. If we don't handle our shit, it can get really bad. So y'all gotta figure it out. Another major point in this episode is Issa's need to people please. I think in her mind, she was using it as, I am a good person. I do give stuff. I don't always need something. So she was going out of her way to try and do these gestures for other people. We got the pregnant lady at the store, and then George, which, side note, that was so funny. I need to know how many times it took them to get through those scenes because he was hilarious. Like, he had me so weak, like, just acting ghetto. Like, I don't know, you think old people will start acting a certain way once they get older, but my nigga was still a nigga and it was great. Anyway, what Issa was revealing through her trying to do something right was a big part of her problem. Like, through every single season we see over and over, she's doing what other people want. She's giving in. She needs people to like her. She needs them to accept her. She'll bend over backwards and completely contort herself for other people. And that's what she needs to work on. Not working on what Molly said about her, that she doesn't have her shit together. She always needs something. It's that you always need somebody to agree, and you always want to give more and all that kind of stuff. So I am hoping that some realization comes out of this episode, because not only did the girl, you know, she almost spent all of her coin trying to help sis at the grocery store, George took her all around the world, was being hella rude and just like extra ghetto, and they didn't even bring her no fun dip. And lastly, we've got Kyla Pratt and her girls who completely just bailed out on her, left her with the bill, and there was nothing for her to do about it. So that was really shitty. I just feel like, I hope she doesn't take those things personal, which at the end of the episode, it did seem like she found her footing again, which I loved, but I hope it's like a real thing for her because she's got to step up and get a backbone. We also get an Issa and her mom moment in this episode, and the mom hug, like, for real. When she was on the phone calling someone, you know, a little bit you think it's Nathan, you think she's about to pull up on some man to validate and just kind of like get away. I also kind of thought it was Kelly, but when she gets home and it's her mom and they're just having a real conversation and Issa's trying to keep it all together, when she starts crying, I think that was just the release. She needed that. It's been a lot going on. Her best friend just talked to her like absolute trash, embarrassed her at her event. Everyone saw it. It really could have been a lot worse than it turned out. So I'm very thankful for that. I'm thankful that we got to see that as well. We don't get a lot of Issa and her mom, and I think as we get older, some of us get way closer to our mom. Some of us kind of get distant a little bit because we're just busy and there's work and there's stuff, and you know, you don't always seem like you got your stuff together, and you don't always want to be a burden on your parents because, you know, they've raised you and their time is kind of like up, so to speak. But that was really heartwarming because at the end of the day, we all got to go back home, and sometimes your mom's the only one who can get it right. So I very much love to see that. That should touch my heart. As far as Issa and Molly are concerned, there's no contact in this episode. I loved that Issa, you know, got a little hi, and finally was reading these comments and like happy and in a good place with things. And she goes, she's very happy about getting some food, and who do we see? Molly in this place enjoying some grub, and Issa's kind of conflicted at the door. So a couple things in this moment. First, Issa turns to a mirror and a reflection of herself that she sees, and for the first time, inner Issa doesn't have anything to say. It's so very conflicting in trying to find the right thing to do, not wanting to inflict any more hurt on yourself, wanting to be angry, but also wanting to stand up for yourself, and not really knowing, you know, if I go in there, what happens? I'm not going to be the one to apologize. I don't need to apologize. But if she, is it going to be an issue? What's going on? A part of me, I'll be honest, wanted her to go in there and keep it mad petty and act like she didn't see her and do her own thing and not speak and let it just be kind of nasty, catty, girl, fuck you. But I'm really happy that it wasn't like that. I'm glad they also didn't make it seem like Molly saw her, because we got to have a full moment with Issa. Everything was about her. We got to feel all the Issa feelings. And then also, that's her best friend. You know, it got really spicy. It was ugly. They said a lot of stuff they shouldn't say. Molly was way out of line. But best friend relationships are like regular relationships. You know what I mean? Your best friends can break your heart. Your best friends kind of move into your life in a different way. And at some point you become codependent, and there is this sort of like, you're my wife. You know what I mean? Like, if you are that close and you have a best friend that's that close with you for real, and you guys have been completely honest and open and through a lot together and been friends for a long time, it's different than just being friends with somebody. They do you wrong, you can cut them off. You don't just cut people off that you care about like that. And then also, you don't want to keep hurting them. You don't want to keep arguing. You don't want the situation to stay bad. So I'm just gonna move around. And it hurt and it sucked, but I do think it was necessary. I do think it's the real option. I don't think most people who saw their best friend, like actual bestie, after that situation would have went in there guns a-blazing and wanted to just turn the situation up, or honestly be petty. You know what I mean? I think most of us would have avoided that situation. Let me know if I'm wrong though. I mean, if you would have went in there and teed up or went in there and ignored her, you know, drop it in the comments. I personally wouldn't have, but that's just me. My hope for next season is that we get kind of a flip of this and get to see the Molly side. I worry though, because I think seeing a Molly side might be a little aggressive. I don't think Molly feels bad at all. I think Molly feels slighted, and she feels like Issa pushed her to do that. And so she was reacting to something Issa did, not she was causing a problem or she was the one. And I'm not really sure who around her is gonna check her. Unless we hear some conversation with Kelly, who I know will. Most of her inner is Andrew, who just seems to let her do whatever she wants. And then her people at work, which Molly will definitely throw herself into work and move past Issa because she feels like she needs to have some level up friendships, and maybe Issa was holding her back. I do think she would feel remorseful and miss Issa a little bit, but I think her process would be different. So I would like to see it, but it might be damaging and we might never go back to Team Molly ever. So maybe let's get into this Tiffany stuff and see some more things going on with the guys, but we'll see. Let me know what you guys thought about this episode in the comments. It was deep and I loved it, and I appreciate seeing this. I appreciate what Issa and the writers and everyone on this show is doing, because it is so real and genuine and authentic, and they have this way of keeping us in our feelings but making us laugh, and it's such a well-rounded show. I mean, it's incredible and I love it, and I'm so happy to be doing this recap with you guys. So drop your comments. Let me know what you would have thought about what would have happened if you were in Issa's situation and you saw Molly at the restaurant. could you have dealt with George in your car? And how many takes do you think it took them to get through that scene without laughing? Because sis. Thoughts on Kelly? I want to hear people talking about Kelly because she truly is the rock for everybody, it seems like. And that character, we better see her every single episode. I also want to see some more of Thug Yoda, so can we please do that? Boy, he's funny. But all right, y'all, until next time, make sure you follow me on Instagram at TiffSaysGo. I'm also at TiffSaysGo on Twitter, so every Sunday night, live tweet with me because it gets pretty litty. All right, y'all, holla.